But now because the technology is rising and we are having new platforms for the computation, we have a new platforms for the application deployment, and therefore the crimes are rising. When the crimes are rising, we have the researchers, as a researchers, we have to find the new mechanism. We have to find the new methods, right? How to fight and how to really safeguard the interest of the legal, legitimate users. So that is important one. And therefore, we normally venture in both the fields, the security as well as the forensics. The phases normally being identified in the literature by various, you can say the stakeholders, is normally identification, then acquisition, right, and then the preservation, then we have examination, interpretation, okay, and reporting of the potential digital evidences. So these are the phases. I think more or less we are okay, clear about these phases, and the we different communities working on the different aspects of these phases, right? But still a lot need to be worked, right? Maybe through application of the machine learning, or maybe application of the artificial intelligence, or maybe use the this meta heuristic nature inspired algorithms. Okay, so what kind of the technology or what kind of method we are going to apply and use is really different okay discussion. But of course, we our interest is to develop foolproof method where we can say our forensic analysis is correct, and the anybody can trust. So trustworthiness we'll talk a little more, and then I think that is very very important when you talk about uh, this. Okay, then various dimensions when you talk technical aspects, where we say hybrid forensic approach. So as I said, your this cloud itself is a heterogeneous environment, and therefore, right, you have to find right how to perform the forensic analysis, or the how to develop a approach for the forensics in the cloud computing. And therefore the forensic approach is also becomes hybrid, because you may not be able to follow the homogeneous approach, and because standards might be different, right? The storage, the way we store is different, rules regulations are different, so many issues again comes over here. Discovery of digital evidence. So evidence building is one of the very very important topic, and we do have work a little on this evidence building, but it's still okay. Lots need to be done, because as I said, evidence when you collect and when you build and submit somewhere, the decision making authority have to have the trust, okay, in your evidences, and you should be able to prove that whatever I'm submitting to you are correct evidences, and right, and therefore this becomes a very very important topic of research, evidence collection, or maybe the evidence building. Then organization aspects, we have a number of okay maybe entities, or right, the various kind of the stakeholders. So it might be your okay CSP, so cloud service provider, or maybe okay the user, broker, carrier, auditor, and we have a sometimes the third party also. So whosoever is involved in, right, in the cloud environment as an entity can be considered right here as a cloud actor. So that is important one. Then investigation, when you comes to this investigation, right, both internal and external investigation becomes the part, because sometimes you have an internal team which can really do facilitate the forensic analysis, and can do or can take your right task to the final destination. But at times, sometimes your internal people may not be trusted, or internal entities may not be trusted. Then the external agency may be hired, and that may be asked to do the investigation. Or sometimes if you are not technically vice versa, sorry, not well versed, then the external investigation becomes very very important. Okay, so we have to see how much capabilities do we have, and how we can do the investigation. Finally, the goal is we should be able to perform the forensic, okay, in the cloud environment with the decision making kind of a, okay, you can say the objective. So that is very important. Then legal aspect is very important, because now cloud is being distributed, because we say the cloud is purely a distributed environment, and you do not know where data centers are lying, how they have a the agreement among them, or how they collaborate when they execute the task or the application you have submitted. And when you do not know how your application, where your application is being really get executed, right? So it might cross the country boundaries, or maybe, right, subject to the different okay, jurisdictions. So multi-jurisdictional and multi-tenant situation is really something which makes the cloud forensics another a difficult destination. Next. So this is, I think, maybe visible. Okay, so this is some sort of a proposed architecture in which you have a different blocks. One says the pre-investigation capabilities, where you have a identity management, event management, encryption management, and interoperability. Then you have another column in which investigative capabilities, where you have a proactive data collection, reactive data collection, hybrid acquisition, examination, and analysis. So these are some sort of a task which you need to, okay, perform when you do your cloud forensic. Okay, so it might start, right, the planning to the data collection, and then the analysis, and then the final decision making. Then the third block talks about supportive capabilities. So this evidence management, okay, case management, multi-jurisdiction, multi-tenancy, right? And then the interfacing capability, law enforcement, and forensic staffing. So these are the okay, four, you can say, the column which talks about the sequential kind of a task which you have to perform during the cloud forensic investigation. So I think this is not a something okay, fixed architecture. If you have your own right, maybe little more layers can be added. But generally, we divide our architectures into layer, because we find that if you segregate the tasks which you can perform at different level, I think that makes our implementation little easier. So therefore, layered structure is common. We started studying from the second year onwards in network, okay, the networks, and then operating systems, and so many. So this is again some sort of a layered structure where you have to perform, okay, different kind of. So we'll elaborate little more. So pre-investigative capabilities, preparation of both internal and external investigation. Investigative requires the core investigative processes. So here again, I think developing the digital forensic for a particular computer, the process or the doing the investigation is simple, but when it comes to the cloud, these becomes really, you can say, a little more complex, because as I said, the number of entities are being involved, a number of environments are involved, number of standards are being different. Okay, the storage of the data formats are different, and there are so many issues, right, which comes here. Interfacing capability, dealing with the internal and external interface between the cloud systems, environment, and investigation parties. Okay, so this is little bit of explanation here. Here it talks about little bit of the flow. So identification, of course, it talks about, right, if some fraud has been done or some event which is illegal is being done, right? How would you identify whether the event comes in the illegal capacity or it is a legal, okay, domain? So, and then if you decide, okay, now this is not within the laws, then you have to collect the evidence. So collection of the evidence is a big issue here, because when you collect your evidence, finally the decision making entity, which is normally the court, must be able to trust you. So collection should be in such a way that we might be deliberating on more on the collection, because as I said, this is a very, very important okay, point in the cloud forensic. Then it comes the preservation. So how do I keep whatever the artifacts I have collected from the okay cloud environment? How I'm going to preserve them? Again, here comes the security. Here comes your right the integrity. Here comes your the trustworthiness and the you can say the consistency of the artifacts which you have collected. So that is also important. And then I have to analyze whatever the data or whatever the evidences I have built. I have to analyze to find, is there something had been done wrong, and if it is done the wrong, then who is the right main culprit, and right what sort of you can say the damage has been made to the okay system. So the analysis is not a simple, you can say, talk about in one word or two words. Analysis might be across the different directions or dimensions, and therefore it becomes really very very important to devise the new mechanism or new methods for the analysis of the artifacts which you have collected from the site. And of course the presentation is also very very important, because entirely the decision of the court depends how you present your facts about the event or the about the illegal event which you are going to investigate. So presentation is also, because the decision making entity must be able to okay take the decision based on the fact which you are presenting. And of course they must trust your evidences, because all are the digital evidences. Sometimes the physical presence is not there, right? And how do you play with the data is only the you can say the intelligence which you can present before the decision making authorities. So this is one. Then there are some steps which normally are being there for the digital forensic and may be applicable to the cloud forensic also. So we again, right, we'll discuss a little bit on these points, and then we might move on to the challenges. So search authority, legal authority is required to conduct the search and or seizure of the data. So everybody know, right, whenever some right something happen beyond the legal boundaries, either the police or maybe the investigation authority right from the government normally goes for the investigation. If it is a private entity, some private agency may be hired, okay, and we have seen so many pictures of the I think Sherlock Holmes, so you can take some input from there. So search authority can be okay anything which we hire, and then of course it entirely depend upon the intelligence of the search authority, how well they collect the evidence from there. So evidences might be in terms of the data. So normally when we talk about the cloud environment, it is the data with which we are playing. So normally your physical artifacts are not there. Okay, so we are not interested in the physical artifacts much. If they are the physical artifacts, then again I think you need to convert them into the digital evidences, and then you have to preserve them also. So here again comes the lots of questions and issues, right? What about we are talking, and if we are talking, let's say, about X, then I am going to write the preserve or the seize the X, right? It might be a data, or as I said, it might be the physical artifact. Then chain of custody, chronological documentation of the assess and handling of the evidence item is required. We well aware of the some of the movies where, right, some court right court kind of a scene is being there, and then we see even then the way you present your event or sequence of the small okay steps of a event makes a difference in defending, or maybe okay otherwise to your case. So here also how I have been preserving my right, or how I am documenting the artifacts of the crime scene is also becomes important, right? So the chain of custody is normally talks about right how you are going to document your these evidences to avoid allegations of evidence tampering and the misconduct. Another, I think the previous slide we have also talked about, right? How would you preserve okay the artifacts? Here also, allegation of evidence, tampering and misconduct. Anybody can tell you, okay, now you might have played with your, okay, the data, which you are presenting as evidence. So how would you prove that you have not played, or you have not tampered, or if you have not done anything the original data? So proving the trustworthiness as well as the validation of the artifacts, or you can say the proof, is also very important. Okay, so this is also there. Imaging and hashing function, so this talks about the preservation of okay, this. So if you are going to duplicate your evidences, then we say it should be carefully duplicated, and again your duplication has to be okay, trustworthy. So I think we can have some kind of a hash value, and okay, and then do some kind of a security security kind of a techniques might be used to prove that whatever the data I have is being trustworthy, and right, one can really take that data as a evidence. So this is also important. Validation tools. Okay, so I think we have the validations tools. Some validation tools are there, but I think we need to develop more validation tools. Okay, so you can ensure the correctness and the reliability. So validation, everybody know, right, what we mean by the validation. So it is it is on to the investigating party, right? They have to prove that whatever the tool or the forensic process they are using is a validated one. Okay, so the validation you have to do in front of might be the decision making party, or maybe the party which may ask you to, okay, now show me that whatever data you are going to present is valid, can be validated through different schemes. So we have to develop some depth validation schemes also. Analysis talks about execution of the investigative and analytic techniques. So it says to examine, analyze, and interpret the evidentiary artifacts retrieved. So analysis, I think everybody know, right? Analysis, as I told you, is I think is a difficult part, because finally you have to come to some conclusion. So here you might play with artificial intelligence, or maybe machine learning, or as I said, maybe from the nature inspired algorithms, and really try to predict, okay, about the event which might have happened, and what can be the final outcome. So this is also important. The repeatability and reproducibility. Okay, so it says sometimes when you do the forensic analysis, and whatever the result or whatever the analysis you present, right, should be repeatable and reproducible. It should not happen that when you use some tool and say, now this is the outcome of my analysis, and next time you to use the another tool and then say, oh, now my earlier I have a X output, now I am in the Y output. So that is not acceptable. So whatever tool I use, okay, my analysis must give me the same result, right, or the same decision. The language might be different, but outcome of the analysis should be the same. Okay, so that is again an important task, because as I said, the tools have to be developed, but they have to be also trustworthy. Full. Then the next point comes here, reporting. Very important. At times we say the reporting as well as the presentation. It's not only in the case of the cloud forensic, but in general life also. How do I report okay, any event is a crucial to me, and how I present my results, okay, to the, let's say, the any stakeholder, is another an important okay, the step. So here the forensic analyst must document his or analytical procedure and conclusions for the use by others. In most cases, forensic analysis will present his her finding and conclusion to the court or other audience, right? So these steps are also very much required in your cloud forensics. Apart from the some of the crucial issues, as we said, we have to deal with the heterogeneity of the cloud, and therefore, so now with this, I think challenge at various phases are there. I think not much readable from this. Okay, so we'll send you the slides, and then I think you can read from them. Okay, so normally the cloud forensic challenges are being divided into the next category. So one category says architectural issues, then another the data collection issues, then analysis issues. Anti-forensic is also okay. There are some issues, right? Which talks about the anti-forensic. We'll see. Incident first reported, and then role management, legal issues, standards. Right? This has been a talk not only in the cloud forensic, but the standard is a common talk in all domains of your computer science and engineering. And then the training. Okay, so these are the some of the challenges which has been categorized, okay, by the researchers, and there is a very good paper. We'll send you that paper also. I think this is a research paper and very well written, so you can find some of the key points for your research, okay, if you are willing to do so. So what kind of the challenges we have at the architectural issues? So it says dealing with variability in cloud architecture between providers, tenant data compartmentalization and isolation during the resource provisioning, proliferation of systems, location and endpoint that can store data, accurate and secure uh, provenance for maintaining the preserving the chain of custody. So I think this all talks about the heterogeneity, which is the base of the cloud computing. Okay, as we have already said, now my cloud is not a cloud system or a data center which is only situated, let's say, in one city, and I can say, okay, now whatever the data I'm going to use is being stored right in this format, or I can say this cloud is trustworthy, and therefore, right, there is the no issues with this. So dealing with the variability cloud architecture means you might have a different kind of the processors, you might have a different kind of the storage, they have a different format of a storage. So how to deal with the diversity of the architecture of the cloud environment is the major issue. Then tenant data compartmentalization and isolation during the resource provisioning, right? There are some issues also when you use the VM placement and the VM migration from one side to the another side, right? Again, there are some security issues. There are some data issues. There are some issues with the log. Okay, so many things. Proliferation, we understand. Okay, now the proliferation is there in system location. Okay, so how to deal with the proliferation of the system, okay, or the scalability of the environment, cloud environment is an issue. Okay, and then right, accurate and secure provenance for maintaining and preserving chain of custody, right? So we have to know, right, from where the data is being generated, to whom this belongs. Okay, and knowing from from the cloud environment is a really not a small task, because you do not know where your task is being executed and who has kept original log or the original data of the that particular event. So it makes my life a little more difficult, okay, in case of the cloud. While in digital forensics, because it's little more the localized kind of a task, therefore it's not that difficult. Then data collection talks about the locating forensic artifact in large distributed and dynamic system. Data selection from virtual machines, data integrity in multi-tenant environment, recovery of deleted data in a shared and distributed virtual environment. I think every point here is itself is a research. Uh, okay, you can see the topic, right? So we know how difficult it is to collect the data from the virtual machines. Okay, sometimes the virtual machines are too dynamic, and logs which are being created are not saved, and they may be deleted as soon as your virtual machine dies. So do you have a some sort of an strategy where you ensure that every virtual machine, when it executes, it will have a proper logs? If the logs are being created, then what format, right? This would be. So there are large number of issues in the data collection which the researcher have to answer. The data format is one of them, right? If the data is being deleted, okay, and if it is being again overwritten, then what you do. So they are for deletion of the data again can be divided into number of classes. Data is deleted, but it's not overwritten. If the data is deleted and it's overwritten, then how would you recover the data? So that is also an important issue in the cloud. The analysis, as we have already said, so the challenges in terms of the analysis, it talks about the correlation of the forensic artifacts across within the cloud. Okay, reconstruction of the event from virtual image and storage, integrity of the metadata, timeline analysis of the log data, including synchronization of timestamp. So you can see how many issues over there. So correlation. Okay, now whatever the data you have collected, can you correlate the events, and can you make a clear story out of the data so your decision making entity can trust you? Okay, now this is the data related to that particular event, and it can be treated as a evidence. If you are not able to do that, then I think your analysis is not complete and you are not going to stand before the court. So analysis becomes really very important. Then reconstruction of the event, because the event had already had happened, because it's not a real time kind of a analysis for cloud forensics. When we talk, it's a post, as I said, post fraud or post criminal activity, okay, analysis. Therefore, how I can reconstruct that event, and the data which has been collected are completely defining that event or not. Okay, so again, there are large number of issues. If there are some missing link, can I join those missing links? And so many things are there. Integrity of metadata, of course, can I believe the data which I have been collected from the system? Then again, it talks about the log data, including synchronization of the timestamp, because sometimes the time sequence you describe an event also becomes important in front of the court. If your timestamp differs from one place to the another, I think court will not believe you, and they will say, "Oh, you have said 7 o'clock. This had happened, and the another time you are saying, no, no, at this place it has happened at 8 o'clock." So this distributed environment of cloud also makes, if your clocks are not well synchronized, right? Your event timing might be different. If your event times are different, then I think right, you are not going to withstand with your proofs in front of the decision making entity. Therefore, the analysis is one which normally need to be right. We have to devise the mechanism or the methods or the new approaches for the analysis for cloud computing and this for forensic. Then anti-forensic, as I said, talks about use of obfuscation and malware, data hiding, or other techniques to compromise. So anti-forensic means if your data is being right unclear or unintelligible, then nobody is going to believe you. Okay, so malware can make the data corrupted also, and some smart players also, right? Can play with your log and make your life really miserable when you collect your data or when you collect the data as a proof or as a evidence, right? And it also depends upon the service provider or cloud right owner, what kind of the log he is going to create, because there are no at present there are no clear cut guidelines or no clear cut standards exist, okay, which really favor the cloud forensic. Of course, the people are becoming more wise and more aware, and therefore the slowly new formats and the standard formats for the log generation and everything are being well defined. Okay, and then I think the time to come, okay, we'll build a robust system where we can do these cloud forensics, okay, with whatever the characters we are wishing and we are really trying to okay talk here. So the, as we said, trustworthiness, validation, verification, okay, and then the presentation and all these things will come. The next point talks about the malware may circumvent virtual machine isolation methods. Okay, so normally your VMs are isolated from one another. right? So if there's isolation is missed, again, yeah, right? You might play with the data. Okay, so your data may not be trustworthy because it might, okay, one VM might affect the you can say the data of the other VM, and in that way, your data may not be correct. So that is also have to be taken care of. So for incident first reporters, it talks about confidence, competence, and trustworthiness of the cloud providers. Difficulty in performing initial triage, okay, and then processing of the large volume of collected forensic artifacts. Okay, so this is when the incident has been reported to you. Then you have to really right have to think on it various points which might be important in the beginning, because we as we are discussing, if your data is not right trustworthy, or your data is not collected in such a way that the people who are being involved can trust you, I think all of your exercise will go in vain. So the confidence, competence, and trustworthiness of the cloud provider is very, very important, right? You have to ensure that cloud provider is trustworthiness, and the data which you have collected from there, right, is beyond any corruption or beyond any temper. So this is one step. The second step talked about the difficulty in performing initial triage. Okay, determining what is important and what is not, because we are not talking that the data which is being there in the cloud centers is huge. If the data is huge, right, which portion of the data is important for you, right, making a decision in the initial stage becomes very, very difficult. So we have to really be smart enough, okay, or we need to develop some mechanism or some methods where I can analyze on site the data, and I can filter out the data which is not important for my that particular event, or that the decision making in the later stage. At the same time, I have to ensure that I should not leave any data. So again, some robust methods or the approaches need to be developed, right? Where I can play with the big data, and right, really can filter out the needful data rather than the whole data is being stored. The processing of the large volume of collected forensic artifacts is, of course, okay, might be a cumbersome task, and we always talk about, right, how to process the big data and how to analyze that one, right? And if it is a very, very large, it's very costly event in time as well as in the you can say the financial aspects also, because here is a manpower which you have to employ, okay, to this do this work, and the manpower has to be right well trained. So this is also important. So if we can have an automated system, I think we can really make a perfect system. So again, we need to develop some sort of a mechanism or the methods over here also. Then the role management, it talks about uniquely identifying the owner of an account. Okay. Then decoupling between the cloud user credentials and physical user, ease of anonymity, and creating fictitious identities online, determining exact ownership of the data, authentication and access control. See, all points are how they important are. So you said uniquely identifying the owner of an account. So can we do that? Okay. Maybe as we said, in a distributed environment, your application is being executed at different locations. So can we identify easily who is the owner of the account? Or let's say some fraudster played something and he has hide his identity. So identifying who is real culprit is a really a daunting task. And in cloud computing, it's really a difficult one. And then okay, decoupling between the cloud user credentials and the physical user, again need some sort of the techniques. Anonymity, okay, have to be done, right? Definitely, this is important one. Then determining exact ownership of the data, authentication and access control. So how you are really going to do? You need to develop the new mechanism, new methods. So here we are talking about the challenges. So these challenges has to be dealt by the research community, and we have to develop new methods for all these steps which we have written over here. Okay, in terms of the legal, because whatever the analysis, forensic investigation, or the analysis we are doing, finally, right, it has to be presented before the legal entities. Okay, it might be a court or it might be some other party, and we have to really think the way the court, okay, considers our evidences, and we must be able to stand before that. So we have to not only present the data, but we have to present over there the method or the mechanism we have used for building, for collecting the evidence or building the evidence. If court will not agree the process or the method you have used for the collection of the evidence, I think whole task which you are performing is not with the stand in front of the court. Okay, so this is one challenge. Then lack of a effective channel for international communication, right? So your fraud might have happened in India and the data might be in the USA, and I think you know the lots of stories. The WhatsApp says I'll not give the data, okay, because it's some sort of a privacy violation issues, and same thing might happen in your cloud also. The entity sitting in America might refuse to give you the the data. If that happens, then how would you really you defend yourself in front of the court? So these are the issues across the jurisdiction areas or the jurisdiction boundaries between the countries or between even the states sometimes. Data acquisition that relies on the cooperation of the cloud providers as well as their competence and trustworthiness. So these same issues are there. Sometimes the data which is being kept at the cloud may be in such form that it may not be useful to you. So how would you convert that data into the standard formats, or sometimes when it is being stored at different clouds, it has a different formats. So how would you really convert that data in a standard format so that your legal entities can believe you? Okay, and then service level agreement is itself is a different research topic, and here also the service level agreements might have some loopholes where the fraudsters or the fraud uh, people may take advantage, and they will get rid of the punishment or the penalties. So service level agreement itself is a important topic over here, right? So we have to draft the service level agreement. Okay, so it may be an automatic system if we can do that. Otherwise, it has to be you can say the semi-automatic. So how we define our service level agreement, or how we check the service level agreement, that may be the you can say the tasks for the research also. Then we say issuing this summon, okay, without knowledge of the physical location of the data. So if some person have to attend the court and we have to issue the subpoena, then right, um, you may not stand with the stand in the court. Okay, they may say, okay, now from where you have collected your data, tell us the physical location, and the party may not agree with you. Okay, now give us a proof that data belongs to really to me, and right, the proving the data as well as the right making a correlation becomes a difficult task. So legality, proving the legality of the evidence is another big issue over here. So we have to work on these issues which are being listed over here. Next slide talks about the standards. Okay, and the when we talk about the standards, I think this is a common topic. As I said in the beginning, it's not only with your cloud forensics or with only cloud environment or maybe networking, right? Even whatever the domain you talk, standard plays a very crucial role, right? Even nowadays we have a large number of operating systems. You talk about the okay Mac OS, you talk about Linux, you talk about Windows. Do they have a same standards? No, they have their different rules and regulations. Therefore, sometimes what you do in a one operating system cannot do in another. So same thing might happen here. Okay, now the forensic when I try to perform in the cloud environment, right? The different cloud form cloud systems or the cloud setup might have a different okay these standards being used. If the different standards are being used, you know how much difficult it is to have a uniformity in the collection of the data, right? Analysis also as well as the presentation and everything, whatever we have discussed as a part of your cloud forensics, right? This interoperability is a big uh, issue in the modern era. May it be your IoT, may it be your cloud, may it be your any okay system where you have a heterogeneity. So interoperability have to be ensured, right? And how we can get agree the international community onto the common standards is a not as easy task. It's a daunting task. Okay. So anyway, if this will happen, and the cloud forensics is going to be helped in a big way. So having a common standard is a desirability of each and every domain. And here also in the cloud forensic, we must have a common standards defined for all the tasks or all the steps which we have discussed. Okay, so that is also important. And then the training says misuse of the digital forensic training material that are not applicable to the cloud forensics. Lack of cloud forensic training and expertise for both investigators and instructors. Limited knowledge by recording, keeping personnel in cloud providers about evidences. So I think everybody of us agree here. The people, not much people are available to really perform the cloud forensics in the uh, cloud forensic task. So the question comes, can we have some automated tool where uh, even a novice person can use it and can do the cloud forensic procedure as per the standard manual, and then we can say, okay, now whatever the facts we have gathered and analyzed can be proved in front of the courts. So that is really a desirability. Otherwise, we must have a good training, okay, for this to perform this cloud forensics. So these are again issues here. Okay, now how can we train the people with different aspects of the cloud forensics? How can we make our people aware of the cloud forensics procedures, okay, and make them expertise into doing this? So training is another important aspects of performing the cloud forensics. Then deletion in the cloud, we have already discussed this one, right? So deletion of node pointing to the information virtual instances, right? And then see, deletion might be large number of issues might be there. There are the two examples here. Okay, one says the your pointers might be deleted, or right, some information might be deleted. But there might be different kind of the scenarios where your data is being tampered. If your data is being tampered, okay, some record might be deleted or some record might be overwritten. Okay, and some link of the data might be missing. So how we can develop the different methods to deal with the different deletion scenarios in cloud computing also needs lot of research. Okay, so right, what kind of the method can be used for this is also important discussion which one have to take care of. So this is a really a difficult task, because if somebody has overwritten right over the data in a virtual environment, can we retrieve that data? Okay, and I think it's a very difficult task, unless until you have another copy of the data stored somewhere else. Okay, so can you retrieve that kind of the data from there? Then it's okay. Otherwise, right, it becomes another impeding factor for your cloud forensics. Next. Evidence correlation. Okay, and how do you correlate different you can see the steps of the event? This I said already. So correlation of the evidence from different cloud providers, okay, is important issue here. And how we can really establish the correlation between the various artifacts which we have collected. Can we develop some automated tool? Okay, can give us the different okay, events which had happened in different cloud environment, and then finally it can correlate the evidences and give us the right sequence of the event which can be presented before the court in the correct and trustworthy way. So that is also important one. The reconstruction of virtual storage. Okay, reconstruction virtual storage cloud environment from physical disk image. Okay, so it says imaging of media has an added level of complexity that could cause damage to the original media. If this challenge were overcome, investigator could reconstruct virtual storage from all of the relevant physical okay, disk images. So when your original media, okay, some damage has been done, so what kind of the storage you can say the approach we might have, so we can ensure that finally we can really reconstruct the virtual storage, right, or the data which we have collected from the various logs. So it can be done. Then this challenge can also be addressed. So here also, I think we have to develop some sort of on the mechanism for this. Timing stamping is also being discussed, right? I said now normally time stamping is used to synchronize the various okay the you can say the resources in the environment. Here also the time stamp might be important to prove the sequence of event which might have happened. Otherwise, if the time is not important in some scenario, then right time stamp. Sorry, if the timing sequence is not important, then may not be synchronization of the various cloud centers may not be necessary. But if the time, okay, sequence is important for to prove any event which has happened, I think the synchronization of the various cloud centers becomes very, very important. And therefore, we have to develop some mechanisms to do the synchronization across the multiple cloud centers, so that all machines which uh, perform the given event at a different side. If a event is performed on a one side, then there is no question mark here. If your task is being divided, let's say into the 5 different physical locations, then the question comes when the event had happened, right? Can I prove, okay, now the sequence of the event which had happened is correct, right? So then I could think the synchronization is important. And of course, a large number of synchronization algorithm exists, and still we are working on this issue. So that is also important one. Next. The next one is your log format unification. And this is really a very, very crucial point in all, not even the cloud, but in the journal systems also, right? So log have to be created, right? And the log are basically the, you can say the real repository for the event which had happened in your system. So whatever the issues we are discussing here, it becomes very very important, right, for the cloud forensics. It says unified means of collecting and exporting log data have been a traditional use in the network forensics. Extremely difficult to unify log format and make them convertible to each other form the massive resources available in the cloud without a standardized interface and export format. Okay, this we have already discussed, uh, right? Standardization or the format in which we store the logs differs from the one cloud environment to the another cloud environment, because the kind of the tools we are using or the kind of the techniques we are using are different cloud centers or different companies are using the different, okay, formats. And therefore if something had happened across the data centers, then the cloud collected may not agree in the format. And then building the evidence out of those different format logs becomes really a difficult task. So can we have a standard format for the log, okay, across the cloud center, right? If it is, then what should be the standard format for the log? That has to be developed, and the research community as well as the international community has to agree, okay, the log formats. So another issue is what can be the correct log format, and what are the methods which can be used to create the log, okay, which can be used for the cloud forensic. Because logs are also not only being created for the cloud forensic. Sometimes it is being created, as we have read in the databases, for recovery and for the system maintenance and okay, other ways also. But when you talk about the cloud forensics, there are certain properties which has to be satisfied by the log, okay, and therefore we have to ensure the log collection should satisfy my need for the cloud forensics. So in that format, we have to really do the research. What should be, okay, kept in the log? The this cloud forensic activity is a successful activity. Metadata formats here also, because what kind of the metadata we have and how they are being collected, and when your task move from the one side to the another side, right? Then what kind of the metadata you have, right? So this metadata is also, right, not very much uniform from one place to the another place, and therefore here also we have to, right, do some sort of record keeping or the creation of the metadata in different cloud centers, so that when I might ask move from one destination to the another destination, okay, I can really use that one for my data analysis or the data collection. Capturing the log, capture and timeline analysis of the log. Log capture is difficult in cloud environment, and complicated forensic timeline analysis, review and event correlation for DHCP log data. If this challenge were overcome, investigator could perform forensic timeline analysis of the network log involving dynamically assigned IP addresses. Okay, so how are you going to capture the log, right? Maybe the log is distributed or it is going to be collected at one place, right? If it is going to be collected at one place, then what sort of methods are being used? Or if it is being kept as a distributed places, then later out, how would you going to aggregate the log? Because finally, the log which is defining the event or one application should be together, so that I can use the same for the forensic analysis. So this has to be okay, again answered, and some technique need to be developed, right? So I can really keep the log, so I can satisfy the need of my cloud forensic analysis. Hmm. Interoperability. This one. So interoperability issues, okay, are there. Uh, Again, very important issue. Okay, so interoperability issues again, I think is common to your right standardization of the different technologies, different formats of storage of data, right? Different protocols you might use for the communication. So can one cloud is right can talk to the another cloud, okay, without any difficulty. So those kind of the issues have to be talked about here, right? So if I do not agree on these common standard, common communication protocols, common formats, I think interoperability is always is going to be right a big issue. So we say identifying commonalities and major differences between the architectures can lead to the more efficient, effective, and consistent collection of forensic evidence, right? So this is something which is important not only for your cloud forensics, but maybe the forensic analysis as well as the security for other systems, where the IoT is becoming another the activity. But tomorrow we might be talking about the forensic analysis of the IoT applications. So interoperability of the IoT applications might be more difficult and more challenging than your cloud. So this interoperability is not only here in cloud environment, because we have said many times this is a highly you can see the heterogeneous or purely heterogeneous environment where the different different technologies or different standards are being used, and therefore there would be a validated standard and a specification support interoperable forensic technical tools, provide more reliable and comprehensive forensic tools. So I think something has to be done, okay, so make the all the clouds okay can talk freely, and they should have a commonalities in terms of the technology, in terms of the tools used, in terms of the data storage, in terms of the protocols. Okay, so we can say there is a seamless interoperability across the environment. Next point talks about no single source for criminals. It says there is no single source that would allow criminals to be caught in a straightforward manner. No one computer in a group that holds all the data necessary for the forensic investigator to reconstruct and information about the criminal. The criminal organization can choose one cloud provider as a storage solution, obtain compute services from the second cloud provider, right? So when so generally, I think digital forensic science differs in little way here, because in when you talk about the cloud environment, right? So there might be different locations where you have to do the this your forensic investigations, and you have to collect the data from the different sources, right? And right, because your one user is free to choose the different kind of the services from the different vendor, because the cloud providers are now the vendors. So I can choose one, let's say the item from one fellow, the another item from the another fellow, and third item from the third fellow. So when this is being done, because of the cost or might be anything, here this forensic analysis really become difficult, because I'm doing the processing at one place, I'm doing the storage at the another place. Okay, so when my VM is running on the one place, and when the data is being stored another place, right? It's really very difficult to. do this analysis. So it says the detection of the malicious act. Okay, the attack on the computer are typically performed through the sequence of incremental steps where each step is an attack, exploits what would appear to a small vulnerability. Forensic investigators find a series of small change made across dozen of systems and applicable that enables an attacker to compromise the chosen target, but do not find from where an attack is launched and a system is compromised. So I think the point written here is right. Uh, Detection of the malicious act, right, where it had happened is a difficult task in cloud. Okay, because again, I am not aware of the where the application is really being executed. Okay, and the attack which might have happened anonymously. Who is the, let's say, the who had launched that particular attack? So really discovering from where the attack had happened, right? Maybe some loopholes of my environment, maybe one cloud provider or maybe another cloud provider. So sometimes establishing, right, whose fault it is, okay, and detecting the malicious attack in the cloud environment is also becoming very difficult. And here also we have to develop some automated tools to really uh, find out the sequence of events which might have happened. The next challenge talks about the criminals assess a low cost computer power. So it says cloud offers computing power in a very small budget to the criminals having limited resources, right? This point is trying to emphasize what basically the criminals are also very smart. I think this we have already talked. And we have talked, if you remember in the inaugural session, that the researchers has to be at least one step ahead of the criminals. And now the cloud services are not only available to the legitimate users, they are available to the illegal users, because proving in advance you are an legitimate user or you are in right fraudster is a difficult task. You cannot say the X is a fraudster in the beginning, right? But for what I'm using my computer resources, right, at times you have no control, because I'll not let you know that I'm doing some mischievous things unless until I do some attack, and then later on you find out, okay, now this is the activity which is being performed by the X, right? What we are trying to tell here is, because computing power is becoming so cheap, for the criminals, it is becoming easier to design the new solutions and powerful tools, okay, to attack, and making your this detection of for the fraud in the this cloud environment a difficult task. If detection of the fraud is made a difficult task by the fraudsters, you know the cloud forensic itself will become a daunting task, because it might be happen they might have a develop a smart tool where your some of the data is being deleted, right? And when the VM runs, and it will not create the log which you may use for the forensic analysis and detection of right of the events. So there are some examples where we have, right, some botnet kind of things are given, but this is not limited one. So really how to detect, let's say one, maybe let's say I detect now this user is performing some illegal operations using the cloud computing, and then I can block him before he can damage. Can be the one possibility where I can stop, okay, and I may not need the cloud forensics, okay. But I think that's not possible. If that is not possible, then how can I develop a smart methods where right I can defeat the actions of the criminal. I think that is the kind of techniques we are interested in the development to fight against the criminal mental abilities. Okay, so you have to really little advance in thoughts, in development of the techniques, okay, against these faults. So that is really very important. Then the real-time investigation, intelligence process for real-time investigation are often not possible in cloud environment. It says data that is not stored in a storage media cannot be seized, but can be collected in real time by placing sensors into the real time environment that need intelligence. A cloud infrastructure may be composed of uh, least time on hundreds of systems around the globe, owned and operated by the scores of different providers. With record spread across such an infrastructure, even knowing where to look to place sensors is enormously problematic. So problematic, right? So real-time investigation, right? In real time itself is a right difficult scenario. Okay, so it takes time. And when you talk about the cloud environment, and when you talk about the large amount of data which is being generated by the cloud, okay, and finding the some illegal activities going on in this cloud is really a difficult task. Okay, so you may think of right capturing some data in by placing the sensors or something like this intelligently, maybe solution, but I believe right most of the applications, right, it is not possible and not cost effective. But of course there are some applications where we define, I think in the first lecture you might have heard about the time critical applications, where real time investigation is really very important, and we never mind how much money we are going to spend, but we want to protect our systems. So if those kind of the scenarios are there, I think we can talk about the real-time investigation, and we can prevent in advance before the damage is being is being done to the system. But developing those kind of the techniques, believe me, is a very difficult task. Anything where you deal with the critical applications or the real-time, okay, characteristics of a system is itself is a daunting task, because then you talk about, okay, now this is my deadline, and this activity okay must be completed within these timelines, and maintaining those timelines in a system is a difficult one. So if I do have those kind of the scenarios where real-time investigation is the important one, I have to really address these issues differently than your general purpose systems. So I need to develop a different, this challenge has to be addressed in a different mode, not in the general mode where your normal applications are running and you are not worried about the timelines and the deadlines on the application. Okay, and you can develop a normal solutions. But if it is a the applications which Dr. Lalit might have talked, and you are really talking about the real-time investigation, okay, you must aware of what are the parameters the real-time investigation wants, and how can I fulfill. Okay, so those kind of the techniques need to be developed to address the need of the okay new applications which are might be in the cloud environment, but addressing your Internet of Things. So this is a very important point which need to be addressed okay more aggressively in time to come, when we'll talk about the cloud based IoT. Okay, so will become more you can say serious issue. Okay, for the researchers. Then the next challenge talks about the malicious code may circumvent IVM isolation. I think you must aware that the one VM is unless until the VMs are being related to or may you can say having some sort of a correlation. If it is let's say some sort of a work flow scheduling where one last task is there and then that task is being divided into the number of subtasks and those tasks being executed at a different machines into different locations, then of course there is a communication between the virtual machines. Okay, and then we might need to communicate to okay the some results or maybe some communication of the parameters and so forth. So right, that is not the point of discussion here. The point of discussion here is I have a different VMs which do not need to communicate upon them, but because of the some reason, maybe some attack or the some malicious code, your VM one VM is get affected or can transfer some of the data, okay, which is important one and to the another VM, or maybe it is a VM which the some malicious user have been created and want to do something bad to your system. So those kind of the if the VM isolation is missing, right, within the system, maybe because of the some vulnerabilities or something like that, then I think it's going to create a problem for the system. So the question comes here, how to address those kind of the vulnerability, or how to address these vulnerabilities are not present in the system, and my VMs are properly isolated or shielded from one another, so that it will not affect okay the execution of the one VM, or if some illegal activity is there, then it will not propagate through the system. So that is also, I think, an important issue of discussion and I think research point. Okay, how I make this VM isolation perfect in the system and right can ensure the security and safety of my the whole system. So this is important one here. Next one comes the error in cloud management portal configuration. So configuration error in cloud management portal may result in an unauthorized user being able to alter another user's information. So this is a very common kind of right uh, hmm, error, or you can say some sort of like loophole which you might have created while designing the management portal right for your cloud. So of course this is not acceptable, but again the question comes, can I really define okay my cloud management so perfectly that no vulnerability is present in the system? And the question might be here, how can I design a technique which can prove okay whatever the management or the configuration right methods I have devised for my cloud will give me all kinds of loopholes, and I think it will block those. Okay, so can I develop those kind of the techniques? Right, that is the question over here. So description talks about vulnerability in management portal application provided by the maybe exploited by an unauthorized individual. So right. So I think these are the points which are really need the address, and still we are talking about the you can say the design issues of the cloud computing environment also. It's not matured enough, and I think we have discussed in the last FA this FTP about the edge as well as the flaw, the fog, and still we have said the fog is and the edge is in the developing stage. And when you talk about something is developing stage, I think these topics are again will follow, because today we are talking about the forensic challenges for the cloud, but later on we'll have the same kind of the challenges for the fog as well as the for the edge. And then the problem will become more circumvent there, because the resource availability in the fog as well as the edge is the limited one, and the kind of the approaches which we can use in the cloud environment may not be able to use in the fog and the edge okay devices. And then later on we'll talk about, okay, now can we develop some technique which are less demanding in terms of the resources, maybe processing power, maybe storage power. Okay, and then we talk about how we can create the logs, how can we really design the analytical method, and can we offload those analytical methods. So normally cloud forensics is being performed offline, because in the last point we said the real-time cloud forensics. So we can say, okay, now we'll collect the data and we'll do this offline with the more rich resource centers, right? So that is maybe an argument, but if it is going to be real-time sort of a analysis, then your edge and cloud would be more, you can say, challenging one than your cloud. Okay, so this is something which is a very very important point here. Okay. Okay, so this is something which is very important challenge here, right? Because if you can block the loopholes or the vulnerabilities even in the management, right, at the level of the management, I think the lower problems are being get sorted. So I believe this is a big challenge and can be addressed by the research community to design and develop the management for the cloud environment, where you can ensure whenever you perform your forensic analysis, it will become much easier, right? So this is now next issue is multiple venues and geology, geolog geolocations, right? Access or to computer and network resources involved expanded scope and possibility more than one venue and the geology location. And I think not much explanation is here, but we have to find here what are the possible research questions over here. Okay. Uh, See, discussion when it comes to these kind of the points, the discussion goes in the same way, right? How, if they are the multiple values venues, then of course when you perform the cloud forensics, again the same kind of the questions comes into the mind, right? How I'm going to collect the artifacts of for my forensic investigation, and when I'm collecting the artifacts for my forensic investigation, right? Uh, are they in the standard formats? Can I use the same kind of the process which I use at one location, and the same can be used for the another location? The data which is being stored at one location is the same as being stored in the another location, or some of the attributes or some of the you can say the features are missing from one location to the another. If they are missing, then how I'm going to deal with those kind of the you can say the attributes, and how important they are for my this forensic analysis, right? Again, when you say the geolocation, then again the jurisdiction of the different locations comes into the picture, and how they play the role in the collection of the artifacts for your forensic analysis, right? Would create a problem. So more or less, these have to be answered by the global community, not by an individual one, right? But here we can at least devise some mechanism. Okay, the again the standard formats and aggregation of the records, and then right the presentation, and then okay right? Analysis and so all kinds of the things. So really you have to think in a different ways. It may not be the same algorithm which you say, no, okay, now my task is going to execute at one place and then I have to collect the data from one place. It is a easier task. But on the other way, you say, oh no, my application is being executed at 5 places and right, I have to collect the log from the 5 places. I believe you understand that the same algorithm cannot be used here also. Similarly, if I am right talking about the different geolocations, and then I can say, okay, now the same algorithm which I have designed for one location, right, I can use for the different or the distributed kind of a environment. Definitely not. So the question here is how I'm going to address in terms of my approach development this multiple venue and the geolocation issue. Even at times, right? How would you identify, okay, this geolocation? That might be a question at the time of the forensic analysis. May not be important for your execution, but it becomes very, very important when you talk about the forensic analysis. Okay, because court might ask, okay, where this had happened, event which where this event had happened, and what was the sequence? Can you really prove this? Okay, this particular event had happened at this geolocation. So many questions might be there, okay, which need to be first drafted and then answered. Next. Okay, lack of transparency. Big questions to answer by the research community. Okay, because we are not talking about the trust in the cloud forensics. I think we are talking about the trust worthiness or the building the trust in different applications also. Okay, so here also this trustworthiness is important, right? And because of you talk about the transparency, because if there is no transparency in evidence building, no court of law is going to believe in your artifacts which you have collected during your forensic analysis. So transparency is something which is very, very important, and you have to demonstrate also. It's not like that you can say, okay, now I maintain the transparency. You must have the methods of the demonstration that whatever the process I have used, right, I can demonstrate that they are transparent. So how to devise the mechanism or the algorithm to show that my process which I have used for collection of the artifacts, for the analysis of the artifacts, or the way I have preserved my artifacts, right, is or are transparent. So those kind of the mechanism approaches or the you can say the framework need to be developed, and I think may be implemented using the new paradigms of the artificial intelligence, machine learning, or maybe okay other ones which might help me, right? So it says easier to collect forensic evidence, accurate, complete, traceable, audible, okay, forensically sound. How big words these are, but every word needs a research. How would you prove that your artifacts are or the evidence which you have collected are accurate? How would you prove that they are complete? How would you prove they are traceable? Don't you think you need a different okay algorithm or a different approach for each point to address here, right? Auditable. Again, I think I was talking to you in the inaugural session that the audit, security audit is becoming a necessity for right all the organizations in the time to come. The government might come with the rules and regulations. Okay, now every institution has to go through security audit. Let's say maybe once in 3 years, or maybe yearly basis, or maybe once in 5 years, right? So whatever the mechanism or whatever the methods or the evidence building approaches you are using has to be auditable. Some auditor comes and he will ask you, okay, now show me, right? What is the process you are using for collection of the evidence from particular source? right? So whatever the mechanism I'm using, it has to be presented to the audit party, and they have to prove, okay, now the method you are using is correct, right? So all those kinds, I think, okay, research points, which the research community has to work and right, will find the solutions. Okay. Now it says criminal can hide in the cloud. So what do you think? Huh? Can they hide or not? They can hide, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
they can hide, sir.
Okay. So we know, right? There are so many applications which go untraceable still today. So we do not have, you can say, the sufficient research where I can say, okay, now I can trace each and a small criminal activity in my, okay, the different scenarios. So now I think cloud is one which we can say is more or less is the broad domain where all the applications are now being hosted. I think slowly and slowly we are going to give away all the personal installations, and we are going to hire the services of the cloud. If the cloud becomes more and more large in size, right, the heterogeneity will become huge, right? Your isolation of your execution, where your task is executing, is also becomes a right difficult task to really find out where my task is being get executed. So all those issues which we were discussing, the geolocation, or might be the geologically distributed, or might be right the okay, which task or the part of the task is executed which cloud, is become might become more difficult, right? And the collection of log will also be a difficult task then. So here is, if the criminal can hide in the cloud, makes my life difficult, because it can play, right, with the environment of the cloud and create a large number of problems. Okay, it can disturb my VM environment, or when I'm transferring the data, they can tamper the data. They can easily get entered into the log and then alter the log. If the logs are altered, then I think your forensic analysis have no meaning. So finally, right, I have to really uh, develop the method so that I can really discover where the criminals have hidden in the cloud environment, and how to deal with them. Or I should make my logs so secure that no one can really get access to those ones. Okay, so finally, the question is, can I make my this cloud forensic process is uh, a trustworthy mechanism? So for that, starting from the point one, identification to your this collection of your data, and then preserving of your data, and then analysis of your data. Okay, all these comes into the picture. So this criminal can hide in the into the cloud is really, I think, the good research area. How to discover? Okay. Uh, next one. And then the finally, I think we'll discuss this last point and then we'll break. And this is a very good document. I'll ask Anand. Okay, he will share with you. And those who are working in this cloud forensics can take advantage of this document, right? Because there are nearly 63 issues. 63 issues are there, so long. Okay, and you can really find one or the another issue where you can develop your own, okay, methods, or the okay, can choose a research problem. Segregation of for potential evidence in a multi-tenant system. So cloud service provider and law enforcement agencies to segregate resources during investigation without breaching the confidentiality of other tenant who shares the infrastructure, right? So, right, you are talking about right, some sort of a this service provider as well as the law enforcement, and of course, the in a multi-tenant environment, right? The privacy, or you can say the confidentiality of the tenants which are there in your cloud have to be maintained. Otherwise, they will go into the lawsuit and they will, okay, either book a case against the service provider or against the one or the another user, right? So while you are performing the this forensic analysis, okay, then you should be aware of that the confidentiality as well as the privacy of the tenant within the system has to be maintained, okay, because the most of the people are now hosting their services onto the cloud only, and if something had happened to one company and then I'm going to access the data of the another company without their permission or without their knowledge, okay, then that company might sue us. Okay, so those kind of the issues also there, right? The cloud providers also aware of those facts. Law enforcement agencies also have to be aware, and the technique or the tools we develop, right, such that they should isolate, okay, the issues which we are discussing, right? So I think with these issues we'll break here because it's already 5:24, and I believe there must be some takeaways in terms of the resources, because one of my students also worked on this thing, and we have developed some mechanisms for evidence building. Okay, I think in the some sort of later stages where we in this workshop we have a, I think, 5 6 sections on this practical sessions, right, on the various issues of your this security issues as well as the forensic issues also, and we will discuss there. So we have also developed some sort of a mechanism for evidence building for ad click and ad click fraud detection. Okay, and some techniques have been developed, so I'm not going to discuss over here. Okay, later on we might uh, elaborate little bit, but some sort of machine learning was also being applied, right? And some sort of the validation and verification techniques also being applied over there, right? And with this, thank you for listening so patiently.